Hello, welcome to another edition of JLJ this morning here on JLJ Media. I am the JLJ of JLJ and JLJ of JLJ. I'm James Lott Jr. And we're here for your daily dose of encouragement and positivity in the morning here on the show. And I have a guest, somebody you've seen on JLJ Media or heard on JLJ Media. He has his own network, New Amsterdam. Go ahead and check him out over there. Flobo Boyce is the channel. But he does many things, but he's taking his channel to the next level. Yes, he is. And we're going to talk about that. For many of you out there, creatives out there who are thinking, well, I'm at one point, how do I get to the next point? Should I do it? Well, he's going to give us some insight because I've done it in the last year or so. He's doing it now. Welcome, Flobo Boyce. Hello, Flobo.
Well, thank you so much. That's actually one of the best intros you've ever given to me of all the things we've ever done together. So I'm going to clip this out and play it every single time I'm on one of your shows.
Use it for your station identification.
Yeah.
So Flobo Boyce, we're talking this morning about going to the next level, and I know that you are working hard to do that. So first of all, when did you start? So people may not know who you are. When did you start this YouTube and online experience?
It's kind of a two-pronged answer because, it's called New Amsterdam Entertainment, but the show New Amsterdam Radio came in 2018 after my failed stationery business. So in 2017, I had a URL because I was going to sell high-grade stationery online, and when that didn't work out, I decided to use the name for a podcast. And that podcast was going for a couple of years. But as far as the video content, it was December 2019. I just had a breakup about 2 months prior, and I had, I guess, all the studio space a one-bedroom apartment can afford you in Los Angeles. And I opened up my old MacBook Air and I hit record on YouTube, and it was the first show I ever did. It was called "What's Up, Flobo?" And I said I'm gonna just talk to the camera about what's going on in my mind, what was cool, kind of like a vlog, but it had to be live entertainment because I was an editor and I hated editing, so it was just a hit and record, and it's grown considerably since then.
Yeah. So you started out just doing a couple of shows here and there, and you have wrestling stuff and interview shows, and your late night Flobo After Hours, which I've been on. I've been
Yeah,
on all those shows, so except for the
all
wrestling.
the shows.
I've been on the show.
All the matter of time we get you in the wrestling one.
One day I may come on and just sit there and go, "What are we talking about?" and make this big commentary. It might be fun. It might be fun. Hey, I might come on and used to be talking about it. Maybe I'll watch one and come on.
Let's do it.
I know many of our fans who cross over would love to do it, just like go to cardiac arrest. They saw me on a wrestling show.
Why not?
Yeah, we don't want to kill people, but I just know they would. So
Don't kill
I know how hard. I know I'm crazy. I know how hard it is to be at a certain level for a while and then make the decision, I gotta do something about it. So what was it for you to make this decision to go, okay, I gotta start doing some other stuff to get to the next level?
Oh, that's actually a good question. So it really wasn't one like aha moment. What it really was on my other outside sphere of influence, I was on this after show with this digital network that was on hiatus, and there was some talking and clamoring about whether or not uh, my friends and I should start our own after shows. And this came lockstep with the lockdown. And so there was a show that my friend and I Jack did. It was called Wrestling with Your Questions was the name of the show. And I said, okay, it was great. We had 16 weeks. But I was like, I want to do more. And so I started my own wrestling show about a particular TV show called NXT called Draped in Gold. And then that led to, well, you know what? I'm on this other thing where I talk about Netflix movies. Flobo started on Netflix. My late night talk show was to realize the dream of being that kind of host, being a variety show host, and like Flip Wilson or Cedric the Entertainer or Jay Leno or Fallon. That one's called What's Up, Flobo? After hours. And so it was one thing after the other with the lockdown, being home, having my traditional ways of expressing myself cut off. I realized I could always do more. And before I knew it, I had a portfolio of programming. It just kind of came one after the other.
Yeah. And so moving right along, trucking right along. We watch the numbers, we look at the downloads, we're looking at the kind of guests we're bringing on, who we're calling in. We all do it, so we're doing that.
Yeah.
And so now cut to, was it late 2020 or early 2020 where you said, okay, now I'm going to start looking at all my content, do kind of internal investigation, kind of. I mean,
Mhm.
when was that about?
So in my previous day job career, I was a professional marketer for a couple companies. One test and measurement company, one for this loan officer company. It was something you call a content audit. So if you're a content creator, and if you're a musician, you basically make musical content. You're supposed to take a look of your vendors you use, your workflow, how you go from start to finish on a project, all that things, and decide which company is good for you. Is the apps you're using the most efficient? Or is the gear you're using the most efficient? And so I think that was a big moment for me because before, up until that point, I was making fun stuff, but I had to sit down and really treat my company like a company. With the lockdown, over the time, I had to basically establish everything I was doing under at least a DBA to be eligible for loans. And so it actually had an umbrella name to it. So I was treating it as if I was a CEO or president of a media company. And I said, okay, great. It was fun in that phase of can I do it? Got my friends to do it. So I got people that I kind of knew through a friend, a 1 degree separation to do it. But now to establish myself, I need thought leaders in that space. I need to get wrestlers or commentators for wrestling shows. I need to get quote unquote celebrities or comedians for my comedy shows to really show that I have grown as a performer and that my company can support that kind of, influx if I got lucky with people in the know.
But you know, you interviewed homegirl from Vanderpump Rules. That's a big.
Yeah.
It's a nice big one. That's a big one.
Ariana Maddox, yeah, fantastic person. And we known each other for a long time, but I definitely approached it as if she was a client in that way. Hey, here's my login. Here's all the information you need. Let me know if there's any questions. Because the last thing you want to do is get too familiar and be like, oh, don't worry, come on down to my show on a Thursday night because it will fall apart. And so that was kind of cool to run through that and say, oh, I can do it. I can hang. I can do an hour interview with someone of note like Ariana. Yeah.
It is. It is a tough line to walk sometimes because people you think, well, I just get together and do this. Some folks you can do that. Some folks, you know, you and I are pretty good at that. We can kind of do it. And my friend Tony Moore, I can do the same thing with him. I usually can get on and start talking. But not everybody can do that. You have to really actually kind of approach it like everybody else. And the show can even fall majorly flat because you are friends. So everybody's expecting you guys to like be good, and then you're like, well,
Yeah.
you got to really set up the show for success.
I try to write questions for everything, for sure, but definitely the late night show. It's Monday nights at 10 p.m. Pacific, and so I overwrite questions because you don't know if your brain can be fried because it's late at night or they're tired. You want to have something to go. Okay, what about this? What about that? And so yeah, it's like juggling.
Spinning plates. I say it's like spinning
Yeah,
plates.
it's
Over
like,
here, over here, over here.
uh,
Exactly. That's totally. Yeah, that's interesting. So I mean, okay, so for you, what motivates you to stay in this space?
Man, that's a good question because some days I'm like, what am I doing this for, man? I'm an old man. I should be doing like a real job. But I I realize this. I have never been so creatively fulfilled doing this. I've done comedy for 6 years. I've done DJing for four. There's times when I burnt out. Like, oh man, I need to go back. But to have your shows and to write for your shows and to book the guests and to do it and to see the views and people say, hey, look, my job sucks. But I listen to your show, you put a smile on my face. Like it's the good tired. And so people say a lot of times your career doesn't, you don't choose your career, it chooses you. I think that's really the big motivation. Now I get tired sometimes. Lord knows I get tired. And there's days where I'm like, I'm gonna push that to next week, or I'm gonna sleep into 9 or 10 because I work for myself. But it really is kind of like there's an audience there that appreciates, may not expect stuff, but they at least appreciate what you do
Yeah, that's
eventually.
true. Well, I can't imagine anything else. So I mean, for me, I just can't imagine anything else. I mean, right now, it's. There are days when I'm just like,
You want to be in an office, like clicking the same thing
I
over.
mean, there's days I miss vacation pay and sick leave and all that stuff. I do miss that, getting paid for it. But then I'm like, but I can do whatever I want. Like literally, this is
Yeah,
like
what's a trade-off?
it's a trade off.
Hmm.
I think that's
It's
the
like being a pirate. A friend of mine said it's like being a pirate. You can look for safe harbor and you can get the covering when the rain storms, but you see the same bay all the time. But if you're going out there in the open seas and you're seeing what other lands could be and what crew works with you, and yeah, there might be a rainstorm or something, but you live the life worth living.
It's true. I know it's just it's. I don't do anything differently. So New Amsterdam is going to be the next. I mean, it's coming up. He has so much content that's coming out that's wonderful. I'm on some of the content, of course, but
Yeah,
some
you
of my
are.
friends are on there,
Hmm.
and there's some people I've never met before that I'm listening. I listen to myself, and I see. I go, okay, this is good. So I want everybody to check him out. So tell people where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, newamsterdam.com. That's KNEW, Amsterdam.com. The entire slate of shows is available there. But if you're more YouTube inclined, I understand. YouTube.com/Flobo Boyce. And all the shows are there too. Also, some bonus stuff, some uploads. Some of my other expressions in video gaming and esports is there too. So check that out. YouTube.com/Flobo Boyce. And once again, lastly, tell a friend about New Amsterdam, newamsterdam.com.
Yes, do it. Be there or be square. And anybody out there, all you creatives out there, my encouragement for you is to try. The thing is, we all start from zero, and we do. Every single person started from somewhere. Very few folks came into this, unless you're like a celebrity. But even with celebrities, they start from zero somewhere else also in their career to become
True.
celebrities. So everybody starts from the same place. It's just what you have to work hard, and you have to stay in it. And you have to be strong and get a support system if you can, and just keep going at it because everyone is all one thing away from whatever it is you're looking for. But meantime, you're doing the work you want to do, right? So that's part of the great thing about living the dream. Is that
Right.
you're
The
doing.
one thing I always say when I create, because I'm from Brooklyn, and that's a town that everyone knows and everyone is familiar with, is
Yes,
that do something to make your hometown proud, right? So if you're from a no-name town, go out there and do it. If you're from like my town, Brooklyn, there's a different Brooklyn between Jay-Z and Barbara Streisand, right? They
that's
found ways to
yeah,
excel in different things. So yeah, I try to say if I was going to put my name on it and someone goes, Brooklyn native, Flobo Boy did this, I want to be like, that's the homie, as opposed to being like, oh, we don't claim him.
I bet it. I'm from Inglewood, folks. So power to the
Inglewood.
people. We are up to good. We are up to good now, so it's a little different.
Well
Than
done.
once. Thank you. You can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. Also, social media platforms, and I'm sold. And also, JLJ this morning is on Facebook and on the Twitter, the tweeting machine. So you go ahead and follow those pages there. We post all kinds of content that's all positive and encouraging. I want to give a shout out to my partners, The Optimist Daily, Positivity Lisa, and a few others are coming on. We're all doing positive work because we're not just being false positive. We are actually being realistically positive. So that's the difference between some other places. We're not going to try to give you blow smoke up your whatevers. We're actually telling you there are ways to look at things while being realistic at the same time. So the answer is always yes. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.